Alright, what's up guys? It's your girl Faith Chase and welcome back to another vlog. Now, if you guys don't know, something huge has happened. I think I'm the first one to report on it on YouTube, but the full actual specifications for the Canon Eos R is out. And I happen to have it right here. We're going to go over it quickly. As you can see, I'm in my kitchen again, so I don't have a lot of time to spend going in full detail, but I'm going to go over the things that I know you guys are curious about, because these were the things that I was freaking curious about, and now I can answer a lot of those questions. So, as always, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, smash that like button, share the video, and make sure you click that notification bell as well so you don't miss out on any uploads, alright? So I'm going to get right into this, guys, because yeah, I'm short on time, but I'm excited. I had to be putting this out because I did a little search on Google and, well, on YouTube, and it doesn't seem like anyone else has put the full specs out yet, so I'm thinking I might be the first one, which is pretty cool. And that's good for you guys because you guys can now know what's going on with this freaking mystery Canon Eos R, like what's the real deal. Now because I have the full specifications, this looks legit. As you guys can see, the Canon logo, Eos R specifications, looks like the actual proper documentation on it. So that's really cool. That makes me believe that without a doubt on September 5th, there will be an official announcement of this camera, because otherwise, I mean, this is just too like full-on legit, man. So I'm thinking we will know for sure what the deal is. Alright, so let's get right into this. As you see in the document here, and again, I'm just going to kind of go through this quickly. I'll do a full review, a proper one later when I actually have the camera in my hand. I can do it properly. It's going to be sweet. But for the moment, let's get down to the facts. And I'm taking this from the approach of someone who loves video, because that's my main thing that I do these days. I mean, in the past I used to do a lot of photography and stuff, but I love the video aspect more than anything else these days as a filmmaker, as a vlogger. So I'm going to kind of focus on those points because, again, short on time, and plus I know a lot of people really want to know a couple things in particular. So let's go over those right now. Alright, number one, as you can see here, recording media. Alright, SD cards, SDHC, SDXC, they're going to be UHS compliant, which you would expect, and UHS 1 compatible, so that's good. Compatible with iFi cards. Doesn't look like CF cards are compatible, but yeah, the main things are there you would expect on a Canon camera. Okay, the other cool thing is, now look at compatible lenses, guys. This is really interesting. The Eos R mount adapter is not only going to let you be able to use the EF lens on these bad boys, but you're also going to be able to use the EFS lenses as well. So, wow, mind blown there. I wasn't expecting that. I thought, you know, you'd be able to use EF for sure, and of course the new RF mount. So for all the new RF lenses, which there's some really cool lenses, by the way, which I haven't talked about much, but there's a 50 mil, I think it's an f1.2, that looks very juicy, which is now really cool because you're going to be able to use Canon's like full range of lenses on this camera. I don't think you'll be able to use the EFMs on here, which kind of makes sense, but I wasn't expecting you to be able to use the EFS lens, but hey, dude, that is hot, so that's really cool. Other things, so as we scroll along here, now I didn't mention yesterday, but this camera is going to kick butt and change the game as far as autofocusing in low light. Like, this thing is going to be a beast in low light for autofocusing and be able to do what, as far as I know, no other camera on the market can currently do as far as the capability of properly, without getting lost and trying to find focus, like this thing in low light situations. The autofocus is going to be tight. So that is another really strong point for the Canon. Now, as before earlier up there with the SD cards, I just wanted to also mention that I didn't see anything that said there was 2 slots. So I don't know if it's going to have just only 1 slot. From the images. It looks like there's only 1, but there could be 2 just on top of each other. But knowing Canon, and just from when we get down and you see some other specs, it kind of makes me feel like they would save the 2 card slot option for the other full frame mirrorless that they're going to be putting out soon as well. So that's happening, and I think that's going to be more like a real high-end, like probably equivalent to a 1DX2. That would be my guess, or somewhere along there. So, but that would be like with a lot more pro features. That's what I would think Canon would be doing. So to protect their higher end cameras, of course they can't put everything into this particular camera. Even though it'd be cool, I think it's only going to have 1 card slot. Alright guys, so moving on. Now I want to get right to the other thing that I know everyone wants to know. Well, this actually, before we get there, we've got the autofocus here, so we'll go over that real quick. Autofocus points. It says max 5,655 when selected with cross keys, so that sounds like just really amazing. If that's the way it sounds to me in my head, that's just wow. I mean, that is absolutely phenomenal. So that's another really cool selling point, guys. And by the way, you guys know this is just my opinions, the comments based on the information I have here, and just my own thoughts in general. So if it's something that you feel differently about, don't take it personally. Like, I'm just a Canon enthusiast. I've always loved Canon, and so these are just my opinions based on the information I have. So, but now this is the thing we're looking at here. You guys can see on the screen here the video recording size and frame rates. Now this is something I know everyone really wanted to know. I wanted to know as someone who loves video. This is kind of like good news and bad news depending on how you look at it. But 4K, we knew it could shoot 4K, but it was like 4K what? Now we know it is 4K. You got the 30 frames per second, you've got the 24 frames per second, of course, at 4K, which is awesome. Does not seem to be a 60 frames per second at 4K. So, you know, that is, I guess, kind of one of those things I guess we'll see in the next full frame mirrorless. But at 1080, you do have the 60 frames per second, you have the 30 frames per second, you have the 24 frames per second, which you would expect. So that's cool. I mean, from a vlogger point of view, any content that you're putting on YouTube, you're probably going to be happy with the 1080 anyways. And still these days, most people, just on their computers and stuff, they're not really viewing actual 4K footage anyways, probably viewing it at 1080. I know myself, my internet, when you're trying to view 4K, a lot of times it becomes all choppy and unsmooth anyway. So 1080 is still, as far as I'm concerned, in the foreseeable future, still going to be kind of the main thing that, you know, even if you do shoot in 4K, you'll probably change it down to 1080, which will probably give you greater detail and stuff in your video, which is cool. It's cool, you know, because, you know, 4K holds more information. So there is a benefit to recording in 4K, I believe. But when you actually render the video, you're probably going to render it at 1080 and upload to YouTube at 1080. So it depends what you're using the video for as to, you know, how you're going to render your video. So everyone's situation is different. But look, it has 4K, and the dual auto pixel focus is going to work on the 4K, unlike the M50. As you guys know, it was crippled and that didn't work. But on this bad boy, it is working. So that's cool. So you got dual pixel autofocus, 4K, 30 frames per second, 24 frames per second. So that's awesome. That's the bomb. Full HD, you've got 60, you got the 30 frames per second, you've got the 24 frames per second. Now here's something that's really cool. Again, you're either going to hate it, you're going to be like, I can live with it. Depends again what you're using your video for, but it does have 120 frames per second, but it's at 720, okay? This is something we've seen kind of now. Canon tends to do this as of late. It's on the M50. Again, 120, but it's at 720. So if you're using it for YouTube videos and stuff, hey, that's gonna be fun. And they've also put at 720 a 60 frames per second and a 30 frames per second option as well. So that's surprising. But hey, again, depending on what you're using the video for, it might be all you need if you're just uploading stuff to YouTube. Make smaller file sizes, and yeah, so it really again depends on what you're doing. But it's there, and that's better than nothing. So, you know, I'm happy. I mean, I'm excited. It would have been nice if the 120 frames per second was 1080, but I tell you what, I would still take this personally over a Sony because I am getting the Canon color science. I'm getting a dual pixel autofocus finally at 4K on a full frame mirrorless. You know, this is awesome. And you've got the flip screen, as you guys know, articulating screen. I mean, this is, to me, as far as vlogging cameras go, it is the best vlogging camera, hands down now. That's my personal opinion. As far as for other filmmaking, I'm going to say that this is going to be a great camera for anyone who's doing filmmaking even, because the flip screen is going to allow you to do all kinds of cool things, film at different angles. And there's the headphone jack that we talked about yesterday. Don't forget about that. So, guys, I mean, this sounds really good. I mean, you guys can go over these in detail as I scroll through here. You guys can go through the full specs at your leisure. What I'll do is, at the end of this video, I'll start from the first page and go all the way to 15, so you guys can just scroll through yourself and pause it and go through it thoroughly. But that was the main things that I really wanted to know. I know a lot of people really wanted to know frame rates, what was the 4K going to be like, and I think we found out some pretty cool information here. Like I said, I don't know about how many slots there's going to be on here, but it seems like, still, to me, this camera is beautiful. I mean, I can't wait to get my hands on one personally, and I like shooting in low light situations, so this camera is just going to be a game changer if you ask me. So anyways, guys, I'm out of time. I gotta get back to the restaurant, but I wanted to get this out there because, like I said, I did a search earlier. It doesn't seem like anyone else has the full specs out there yet. So hopefully this will at least help some of you guys see what to expect from this camera now. I'm super excited. September 5th, I guess everything will be revealed. And thank you guys, as always, for watching, supporting the channel. Subscribe, like, share, all that cool stuff. I'll see you in the next video. Sorry I got to rush, but you guys know how it is. Anyways, love you, peace out, and remember, live each day to the fullest.